Andrew here with the Reach Company. In this tutorial, we are going to give a quick tutorial on tweaking, changing some of the existing content that's already on the website. So this is a tutorial for you if you want to change out some of the text, change the link to a button, change the text of a button, change out a video, little content tweaks that don't involve a whole lot, but just taking what's already here and changing it out. So we're going to start by clicking on the page builder. And this is going to bring up the page builder for this page. And there will be another tutorial, of course, that gives a more in-depth tutorial of using the page builder, how it works, building a page from scratch, and using some of the tools we have already set up for you. But in this one, a lot of what the work on the site will just be tweaking some of the existing content as you want to change pictures out, text, etc. So we're going to start with this right here. Just for way of simplicity, this page builder works like boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes. You have little boxes here. These are modules. You can see how every one of these is individual. There's columns next. You can see when I hover over where it says move column, that whole section is highlighted now. And then you have rows right here. You can see that there's a little blue outline around the entire row. And so you have modules inside of columns, inside of rows, boxes, inside of boxes, inside of boxes. And so we're going to begin with the row, and what we're going to do is change out, we want another picture on the front. So we want to click on row settings. I didn't say that, did I? So to change it, we click on this little wrench right here. You see when I hover over it, it says row settings. This pulls up the settings for this row. For existing content, you probably shouldn't have to mess with most of the settings, but you might want to change the background. There are several background options. I imagine that you guys would bounce back and forth between photo and video. Maybe you guys make a cool video for the home page and you want that to be the background, so you can set it to video. For this, we're just going to change out the picture. So the type of background is still set to photo, and I'm just going to edit the picture and go to the media library, and it'll show me a list of pictures I can choose from. And I'm going to choose this picture because I like it. And I'm going to click Save here. And so that changed out the picture here. One more thing that I can show you here is, I'm going to drag this over to the side so that it doesn't obscure the view. One more thing I can show you here is if we go to the background overlay. You can see here that I have a little bit of an overlay set, so it's easier to see the text, and you can change the color of that, and you can change the opacity. All the way to what you need it to be. I rather like it with the black. I think it looks modern and clean, and so I'm going to change that back, and then I'm going to hit Save. If I want to change text, all I have to do is click on the text, and it will it'll pull up the heading settings over here. This is a heading module. It'll pull up the heading right here, and I can edit it in two places. I can edit it right here, or I can edit it over here where it says title. Whichever one is easier for you to use. I like using it over here. Others like using it over here, like just clicking on the text and changing it. And then once you change it to what you want it to, click Save. Next, we're going to look at changing out a video. So right now, this is the Hixson Campus kind of welcome video, and we want to change that. So there's two options here. The first one is the media library. You won't be using the media library much because you don't want to put that demand on your servers. It's much easier to embed a video, and so we just copy the embed code from Vimeo and pasted it right in here and click Save, and that's how we change out that video. Next, let's look at this button right here. So the first thing you can do is change the text of the button the same way you do a heading. You can see I can change the text right there, or I can change it right here. I have this icon that I'm using a lot on your site, so you can trade those out if you'd like. And then the most important part, obviously, is the link. So wherever you need this to go, I prefer if it's a page on my site instead of having to type out rockbridge.cc/visit, I just type the backslash and then whatever the page is. So let's go to like I'm new. The page is backslash and new, and so I can change the link like that. Maybe later you want to change the color of the button right here. You will have a saved module over here in saved. In the other video I'll show you about saved modules, but you'll be able to, instead of making new buttons, you'll be able to pull from some of the ones that I use throughout the site and just drop them where you need them. But if you want to change the look of a certain button, you can play with the padding right here. The corners, you'll see that it's basically straight now. I'm going to change it back to 3, and it rounds off the corners. And then I have this shadow set up for it. And then of course the colors of the buttons right here. If you want to change the color of something, wherever you have a color option, you can select from all this right here. But what I like to do is I have color presets for your brand, and so I click on color presets and I select Rockbridge Blue, and it changes that button to blue. It started out as just black, so I'm going to change it back to black, and then click save. And that's how you update a button. You won't have to update these like stuff like this, events or where posts are showing, because that pulls directly from the events listings. It pulls directly from like blog post listings. Let's go over to we're done on this page, so I'm just going to click done, publish. Let's go over to the next steps. Maybe in the future you want to like reorder some of the stuff that's on this page. Okay. Take over. I'm editing it on another browser. Oops. So I'm going to launch the page builder. And what we got here is our next steps page with the next steps that we have. And maybe you want to reorder some of these. So what you can do, there's 2 main ways that I can reorder things. The first is, this is I'm going to click on it so you see the settings. This is a call out module. You'll see it up here. And I have the heading set to follow Jesus. I don't have any text input because I just want it to be like a 1-word call to action. You can style it here. Some of these are self-explanatory. Change the image out by wherever there's a photo. You just click image and edit. And then the call to action I have is a button. And so I can change the link to a button here. I have it set to a button. And then I can change the colors and everything here like on the previous button. But we want to move this around. So maybe we want to change out get baptized with attend a service. So the first option we have is just dragging and dropping. And the second option we have, I'm going to drag it back over here. Second option we have is actually moving the column. So if I click on where it says edit column and move column, I can drag that whole column to the side over here, and it should throw it in right there on the side as well. Now, what if we want to add another call to action? So that's simple too. What we'll do down here, you see this little blank space. What we're going to do is go to column, and we're going to duplicate this column. And then you can see it went through it into 4 things, so we're going to X that out so it brings it back to 3 and doesn't mess up our layout as much. And then we can just edit the content, the heading, the image, and the call to action. So the link right here. And you shouldn't, unless you want to, have to mess with the text here because it's all the same, learn more. And then we would hit save. Now, what if we want to take away a call to action? What we can do here is, instead of deleting column, because if you delete the column, it's going to throw it into 2 and it's going to kind of mess up the layout. So if we So we don't want to do that. What we want to do instead, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it again. What we want to do instead is delete that. And then you'll see that this column is still white. So we go to column settings. And I have the background set to a color. So I'm just going to change that to none. And it takes away that color. And then I'm going to save. And that is how we can move some of the elements around. All the elements work like that, drag and drop. So we can tweak the content how we need. And the last thing I want to talk about here is changing out some of this content. So we're on the I'm New page. So let's go to the page builder. And we're going to look at changing out some of the picture elements. So this is just a background picture that I click on. It's just in a column. It opens the column settings, and I can edit the picture by clicking edit. Over here we have a icon number list module, and I just have a few little bullet points that are preceded by this icon, and you can change those out. You can drag them around, and most of the modules work the exact same way. It's clicking, changing the text to what you need it to be. Right here we have a gallery module. And so we can change out the photos here. I just picked some of my favorite photos that look good. If I'm a guest, I would like to see these kinds of photos. This kid is the cutest little kid in the world. And update that gallery. And that's how you tweak and change out some of the existing content that's already here, whether it be a heading, or whether it be a button, or whether it be a row background. And some of the other modules, most of it's just clicking and changing out the text and links and colors with what you need them to be. And make sure when we finish, we click done and publish. That's how you tweak your content.